What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the LFC Transfer Room live stream. We're post-season. We're not doing pre-match or post-match unless there's some game that we don't know that's going to happen. But I'm joined today by Jack, who's not hosting for the first time ever. When was the last time you didn't host, Jack?
Long time ago. It feels weird. I didn't have to talk first. It's like a burden off my shoulders, but it's also like I'm waiting for you to shut up so I can start talking again.
Yeah, and we've also got Adam and Ben with us, and we're going to be talking transfers today. And yeah, keep, loan, sell. It's as simple as that. How are you two boys down below me doing? Are you all good?
Yeah, very good.
Good.
It's been a very good day.
Yeah.
The elephant in the room, mate. The elephant in the room. How are we all feeling about Ibrahim Konate? Before we get into this stream, we were going to plan to go live if it actually went out at a suitable time when Konate signed, but it actually didn't. How are we all feeling, Adam? How are you feeling about the Konate signing?
Yeah, great, man. Great. Smooth, very smooth signing. No complications, no dodgy medicals, no, Fekir situations. That always haunts me every summer. But yeah, no, delighted. Great signing. I think he's going to make a great centre half, and I'm looking forward to him lining up beside Van Dijk if that's the plan going into next season.
Yeah, as you see on the scroller below, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Get us to 900 subscribers as soon as we can. We've had really good progress recently, so let's keep that going, shall we? Let's keep that going. So we're going to get into the list then. We're going to start at the top with goalkeepers. We'll go down until attackers. So we're going to start with Kamil Grabara. Okay, Polish goalkeeper, not played a first-team game for Liverpool. Ben Boszak, keep, loan, or sell?
He's a great character. I love his confidence. He once said he was the best goalkeeper in the world when he was playing for the reserves. So you got to admire his confidence. But unfortunately, I don't think he has a future at Liverpool. So I would sell him. I would look to move him on this summer.
Yeah. How much do you reckon we could get in for Grabara, even considering he hasn't played a game for us?
I think he might even be someone who will be selling a free, but a few 100,000 probably. I wouldn't expect him to get $1 million for him or anything like that. It'd be a few 100,000 max.
Mickey Edwards magic, mate. Mickey Edwards magic. Adam, keep, loan, or sell Kamil Grabara?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Ben said. Can't really add much there. Sell on. I don't think he has a future with us. And yeah, I think we could get a couple of 100,000, maybe $1 million if we're lucky, around that figure. But yeah, definitely sell.
And Jackie boy, what are you going for?
I mean, if I say otherwise, I'm just going to be the black sheep. I think when you have a keeper like Alisson, who's not really, you don't see the end of his career for at least a decade, potentially, it's hard for many keepers who are young in the system. A bit harsh to say sell, but I mean, especially considering how tight finances are, just get a few 100,000. Even if it's just a case of you don't have his wages on the bill anymore, I think it's a 3 for 3 on the sell.
Yeah, make sure you comment in the things. Yeah, K, L, or S. So if you want to keep them, say K, loan, L, sell, S. It's as simple as that, boys. It's just phonetics. Queven Kelleher, ladies and gentlemen, has had a very, very decent season for all of his outgoings. No one thought that he'd be playing at all this season. We thought, maybe he's third, maybe even fourth choice. I think he's done brilliantly for me. Keep, loan, or sell, Jackie boy?
For Kelleher, it's a tough one because I know there's rumors today that we're in a bidding war for Adrian. That's a pretty remarkable thing that there are some Spanish clubs that want him. We want him as a third choice keeper. I think it makes sense to keep him. I don't know how he impacts our homegrown rules because usually I think it's a good idea to have your backup goalie help you with that in terms of getting to those numbers. But he's not English, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he came through the academy though.
He was trained at the club, so he can't qualify. He's eligible for homegrown status.
Okay, so in that, I mean, he's been decent for us. There's no reason to buy a backup. I think we just keep him. Simple as that. Yeah,
Adam, fellow Irishman himself. What are you going to do about Queven Kelleher?
100% keep. Not just because of the Irish thing. But yeah, I think the games that he played last season, he was great in. I think he filled in well when he had to. Like Jack said, I mean, if Adrian looks like he's going to be on the move this season, I think Kelleher would be. I'd even put him as a second choice keeper, to be honest with you. I don't think there's any reason to sell him. I mean, it could be a case that he might want to move on, maybe not this season, but 100% keep. And I'm looking forward to him, eventually playing a goal for Ireland as well.
Ben?
Yeah, keep. I can only echo what the guys are saying. He seemed really confident when he was on the pitch in those few cameos, and yeah, he just looks the part. I think he's made for that second goalkeeper position. Yeah, can't really disagree with everyone. I'd keep him too.
One thing to argue is maybe would his development or his value benefit from a loan deal? I'm not so sure, but I'm definitely.
The thing is, the question is, can we get anyone better in as second choice? And I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think you can't really find someone better than him, and maybe he'll learn more from being second choice to Alisson and seeing what he does and training with him every day. So there's an argument
who keeps Adrian as far away from the first team as possible as well.
Moving on to that, I don't think that we need much discussion on this one unless anyone's got any outlandish opinions. But are we all sell for Adrian?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments if you're
he served us well in fairness to him, but yeah, it's time to move on.
Yeah, I'm 100% agree.
Are we going for a fourth goalkeeper as well?
Oh yeah, well the one that's out of contract next summer was out on loan this season, Loris Karius, another one who's much maligned within the fan community. Boys, I'm a sell or a release even, but. Ads, will start with you, mate.
I mean, I think just for the guy's confidence himself, he needs to leave Liverpool. I mean, there's no place for him there. He's not going to get in. He's not even going to get in ahead of Kelleher. I just think for his own kind of confidence and his own kind of future, he needs to move on. I think Liverpool obviously have a good relationship with the guy. They obviously, care a lot about him, and I think they're going to try and do their best to make sure he has a future in football and move him on somewhere where he actually can develop and still kind of have a career.
He's also one of our most longest serving players at the moment, isn't he? He's been in the club for 5 years.
I actually watched him for Union Berlin a few times, and he wasn't that bad. He was actually pretty good when he did play, but I'd still sell him, and I do think he's a relatively decent goalkeeper who does have a future in football. Just not from Liverpool and probably not in England either.
Yeah, I think it's just those mental scars, isn't it? You can't get rid of them, and it's even if he did make it as a second choice goalkeeper, he would continue to make the same mistakes because that's all that's been just ingrained into his mind.
Based on all his videos and stuff, I can really see him playing in the MLS and having a good career there. He loves his NBA and all his Los Angeles stuff.
Yeah, he's a bit of a stylish fellow, isn't he?
He could be good in the MLS. He could be. He could actually be a solid keeper here in the States. And I think I liked him a lot at Liverpool. Obviously, Alisson is just far better. But for what he in that season, the 2018 Champions League run, he was decent. He didn't, I think, embarrass you with mistakes until obviously he did it on the biggest stage when he had multiple errors. So, but that just kind of I think cemented him as no future here.
He was better than Mealy.
I'm not having that. I'm not having that.
He was.
When
That's
I
the
went to
reason
go,
why Klopp preferred him.
He didn't in the end. Well, yeah,
he preferred him in the Champions League final.
There has not been a goalkeeper in my time going to watch Liverpool. I went to listen to him a lot this time that made me feel more nervous than Karius. Even Mignolet.
No, it was
Karius made me feel far more nervous.
Adrian.
Mignolet probably made me nervous. Yeah.
Mignolet off his feet.
But the thing is, but Mignolet, when a shot comes at him, he's probably going to save it. Karius, the primary job of a goalkeeper, and if anyone says, is to save the ball.
He always said that was one moment
Karius,
in the Champions League final when he was concussed.
Watch Roma. Watch the Roma game. Watch the Roma game, and we'll talk again. He was so lucky in a lot of occasions. He made some good saves, but that spell is overrated. I'm sorry, it is. But anyway, we're moving on. And
every keeper is in fairness, I watch Alisson with the ball at his feet and I crap myself. Just because any keeper at the ball at his feet, just getting out of the pitch, that's what I want the keeper to do. So in fairness, I would think you say that about a lot of keepers, make me nervous when they have the ball at their feet. So in fairness to Karius and Mignolet.
Yeah, to be fair. Moving on to the outfield players then, a little bit more exciting. Nico Williams, Welshman, where I'm from, well, not where I'm from, where I'm living. but we move. What are we thinking about Nico Williams? For me personally, I know a little bit that Southampton are big admirers of him, trying to get him in January. We'll start with you, Jackie boy. Nico, keep loan or sell? KLS in the comments.
I'm a big Nico fan. I think again, it's going to be what I say a lot this video or this stream is. Would it make more sense to buy a replacement for him? I don't think it would. He's been training in the first team for a long time now. He's done a decent job. A loan, I think, would be better than a sell, because I don't really see a good right back option out there that would do a better job as a backup, unless you just want to sell him and have Gomez be your backup, and just like Milner as your backup. Because assume you play Trent every match this season, but I think he's fine to keep personally. Maybe a loan borderline, but nothing else in my eyes.
Ads, what are you going for, mate?
I'd agree with Jack in a sense. I don't think he should be there next season. So whether he goes out on loan or we sell him, I don't think he should be there next season. To be honest with you, I'm kind of leaning on sell. I think we need someone in there that can kind of really, really compete with Trent and really kind of, I suppose, scare Trent as well, for his place. Because like as we know, the argument's always made about Trent and can he be trusted like all the time defensively and everything. Like that argument is always going on. But he need like every player needs competition. Like, we can say it about the rest of the team as well. Like, so at the end of the day, I think maybe Williams just isn't at that level to compete with Trent. In regards to kind of all parts of Trent's play. So maybe we need a player similar to Trent.
Could we argue that he's not at that level yet? So maybe a loan spell would be better to help him progress. Maybe he goes to a Premier League club and has that experience in the Premier League, and then he could be at that level, because I do see a lot of potential in him. I think his attacking play is very good. He's also decent defensively, and he's first choice for Wales. He's going to be first choice for Wales at the Euros, so he's going to play a key part in Wales's Euro campaign. So, he's got to be a decent player. And the fact that even Southampton are looking at him, that goes to show that there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think a loan move would probably do him a lot of good. Like I know I say sell, but like very, very kind of reluctantly as well. I would be disappointed to kind of see him go, but maybe the best option.
Also, I think as well, if we do loan him out, we still have Joe Gomez as an option. If he's back fit, he can play right back as well. Yeah. So it might be the case, like, if we are short of money, we don't really need to bring in a replacement for Trent.
Ben, what are you saying? You're saying keep, sell, or loan, Ben?
Loan.
So Adam's saying sell. I'm saying keep. You're saying loan. Chris, you're the tiebreaker. What you?
I'm saying loan, mate. I think if he gets regular football at Southampton next season, that'd be a brilliant thing for Nico Williams. Can I just explain, mate?
I told him that. Can I just say the commenter? I told Chris this before we went on.
It's a tribute to Steve. I haven't been able to give Stevie G any tribute, so I'm just doing it for him today. And I got this.
Steven Gerrard Liverpool top, not a Rangers top.
I don't have one of them. It's cost me £12.50 at the end of last season, so allow me. Okay. Moving on. Another Williams, Reece Williams, stepped in. Another one who no one expected to get any football this season. He's come up right in the top corner by Ben there. For me personally, I'm a loan. Championship club. If he's a Preston North End fan, so maybe that could be manoeuvred. What do you boys think? We'll start with you, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely a loan. I think he got a lot of harsh criticism. I think at times when he was in the first team, didn't really deserve it. He was still learning his trade. Obviously, he does lack a bit of pace, but a lot of good centre backs do, and I think he showed enough quality on the ball and in terms of his aerial ability and everything else, that there is potential there. I see a half decent centre back there. Definitely someone who can be as good as even Nat Phillips potentially. And he's an England under-21 international as well. So I think Championship clubs will be looking at him based on his experience in the first team at Liverpool, and we could get a good loan move and really ramp up his price and even maybe challenge as a centre back. in the future. Although it's a tough task because we do have a lot of young centre backs at the moment. So any young centre back is going to struggle to get into that team.
Hey, Brady, we can't be having this. We can't be having this. We can't be having Chris on his striptease on AFC Transfer. Jackie boy, what's your opinion on Reece Williams? Keep, loan, or sell?
I don't think his value is high enough to dump him off yet. I think a loan makes perfect sense. Give him a full season. I mean, he was put under a ton of pressure this year, but it was a great, I think, building point for his future. Ben, you mentioned the young center backs, and I think I agree that signing Konate, especially today, makes the pathway for him into the first team pretty tough, unless he makes some serious strides in his game. He can definitely do it. I think the loan is the perfect chance to do that, where in the championship he proves himself week in, week out. In a side where maybe his lack of pace isn't as exposed, then he could actually be worth a decent amount next summer. And you know what we're all about. We're all about that the stocks, I guess, the ability to make money. I'm gonna ignore that comment from Black Hammer because I had forgotten about that, the dare that I made, the bet that I made, and we're gonna move on to Adam.
Yeah.
What bet? Sorry.
No bet, Adam. No bet, Adam. Just
you know, I'm going to agree with the guys and say loan, but there is a part of me that thinks, looking at last season and looking at the kind of absolute disaster we had with just centre backs and injuries and stuff. I presume Matip is going to be moved on this season. We're probably going to get to that in a bit. But I mean, fair enough. You have Konate, you have Van Dijk, Gomez, Phillips. There is a part of me that says keep Williams as well, just because we don't land maybe in the similar disaster that we did this season. But yeah, I would say loan. I don't think it's probably going to do him any good sitting on the bench and hoping, someone, gets injured and is out for a while.
Yeah, talking of centre-back crises, Nat Phillips still doing quite a lot this season. Adam, what verdict are you on the 24-year-old?
100% keep. I think he's definitely earned a new contract. I think he's definitely earned the place up there to compete. I think he can learn a lot from someone like Van Dijk. And I think, yeah, it'll do him good. Again, it's similar. Like, does he want to stay there and be kind of third or fourth choice? That's kind of what the debate is going to be in the next few weeks. But I definitely keep. But yeah, I suppose it's a bit of a mystery at the moment if he wants to stay and kind of fight for his place, or he feels he might be better elsewhere.
I think he'll give it 6 more months at least. I think based on the experience he's had, I don't think he's willing to give up that Liverpool dream just yet. And I completely agree. I would keep him because I think he did really well, and I think there's actually a lot of potential in him as well. He's a very good defender, and ever since he come into the side, I don't really worry about us conceding from set pieces anymore. Especially with Reece Williams as well, they were both just heading everything away, and heading everything in the direction of the other goal as well when they were going forward. So yeah, I'd keep. I think he has abilities that we can use. And we can bring him into games against the likes of your Burnleys and stuff, and we'd be playing Chris Wood and he'd do well.
Yeah. Jackie boy.
I don't know. The way I think about it is Divock Origi, had we sold him after the Champions League final in 2019, he would have been twice the price he will be this summer. If we had sold Adrian immediately after the Super Cup, we would have taken him from a free and sold him
after like a month of him playing for Liverpool.
Exactly. 1 month would have turned a £5 million profit. These players, right, they can be good. They can become cult heroes. But you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I like Nat Phillips. He's a hero right now. And it's harsh to say, but his value right now is, in my opinion, as high as it'll ever be. I think he's a very limited player. I think he could be great in a lot of sides, even in Premier League sides. He's done wonders to go from Bundesliga 2 level to the Premier League level. But I do not think that he should be a last choice option for us because he will have high value this summer. Like, what is he going to do this season that will raise his value next summer or make himself better than Konate, Gomez, Matip, or Van Dijk? He just fundamentally will not grow the speed he needs to play for Liverpool. And I mean, fundamentally, Konate and Van Dijk are going to be beasts in the air. So we won't really need Phillips in that sense. So in my opinion, if we can get a decent offer from a club he'd get first team minutes at, it's an easy sell in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm on both sides. I agree with both of them. I think Nat Phillips is the perfect fourth or fifth choice centre back, especially with the injury prone. Like, we don't know when Van Dijk will be back. We don't know when Gomez will be back. So that's why I think I'm leaning towards Ben and the sort of he'll give it 6 months. Maybe if we strike an agreement with someone and say, right, you can have him in January, but we kind of need him right now for a little bit. But that's in an ideal world. Like, no one's going to bend over that easily. So I'm going to say keep for 6 months on that one. Another defender, more first choice defender now in Joel Matip. World class on his day, but his day comes not very often, boys, because he's never out of the treatment room. We'll start with you, Jack. Joel Matip, keep, sell, or loan?
I think I don't know if it's as simple as you keep one of Matip or Phillips. I don't think it's that simple. But it might come down to it due to the finances this summer. I've said, personally, I would sell Phillips. And that would because I would want to keep Matip. Because in my head, keeping a lower choice center back makes more sense if it's Matip, who on his day is absolutely tremendous. But when his day doesn't come very often, that's a problem if you rely on him. But if he's your fourth or fifth choice, which he realistically could be. I mean, you'd have Van Dijk is your week in, week out when he's back fit. And then Konate and Gomez hoping that he's fit soon. Then, yeah, maybe you'd want to keep a Phillips and a Matip. But I personally would definitely keep Matip. Even if his fitness issues aren't fully cleansed, I think he's just far too talented to give up on yet. And I think he could be a really good player for us for a significant time longer. So I would definitely keep him.
Ben?
Yeah, I'd keep him as well. I just think, even though he has his injury problems, the fact that he could still come in and when he does play, and he has played at times quite consistently and regularly, and maybe there is still hope that he can shake those injury problems. He's decided to take a lengthy time out to recover from this latest one. And if he comes back and he's fit, like a fit Matip is probably one of the best centre backs in the world.
I want to pull up this opinion from Blackhammer. That's a very unpopular opinion. Very, very.
Mate. Blackhammer, you're waffling. Like that's too far.
It's kind of what I was saying though. It's along the same lines. I don't think he's as good as Virgil van Dijk, but I do think he's a world class defender on his day, and probably in the top 10 in the world.
I agree. I think better than Van Dijk is. It's not an argument.
Yeah, that's a little bit too far. Like, Adam, what are you going for?
This is one of the toughest ones, I think, for me, because again, like the guy said, he is a top class centre half on his day. When he is fit, he's a great centre half, and he's a great guy to have there. But it's getting to the stage now where it's becoming too often that he's injured. And we also know that Gomez as well has kind of unfortunately been hit with a lot of big injuries in the last few seasons. I know he's not really the same as Matip, as he's kind of often picking them up. But if it's a case that like Gomez picks up another injury and then your other choice is Matip to come in and they're both injured, and then you're in a situation where it's, say, Konate and Van Dijk starting and there's no one ready to come in for them, I think in that case, I'd probably rather, like I said, keep Phillips. We don't really know yet if Phillips is a guy who is kind of in the same vein with injuries. He doesn't seem to be, but at the moment he just seems to be more reliable in terms of fitness than Matip. So again, it's difficult, but yeah, I probably would say just because of the injuries and just in case we have another crisis like this season, yeah, I'd probably sell.
I'm in the same boat as Lee here, but I just don't think. I think the if is too much. I would be sell for Joel Matip. I think not if Phillips. I'd want to keep Phillips and sell Matip. That would be my choice. Not because I think Phillips is anywhere near the player Matip is, but we need cover because otherwise we start delving into like Tom Clayton in the under-23s and going all the way down. Billy Kumetio, we don't need this kind of situation again. We need depth.
Daryl Kwanzaa, he's good.
He did look good in the Youth Cup final, didn't he? But yeah, maybe keep for depth again. But like I'm much more of a firm sell on that than Phillips.
So you have Chris and Adam are sells and Ben you're a keep, right?
Yeah, but our comment section seems to be saying keep.
So go with keep.
The comments have helped us, Ben. We win.
We'll limit the discussion on this one. Sepp Vandenberg had a good season on loan with Preston, playing at right back, so maybe he could be a part of the right back depth. I'm personally a loan again. I'd send him to either a top level championship or maybe even a Premier League club or somewhere abroad. I don't know what you boys think.
Agreed. I think even Germany, somewhere like that. Maybe back to the Eredivisie as well.
I mean, we bought him at 17, 16 years old. He was never going to pan out immediately. He's going to need a few more loans before he gets to the Phillips level, I guess, where he's a 4th, 5th choice center back. So I think it's a very easy loan. It's not harsh on him either. I think it's just he had a good loan at Preston, build on that continuously, and there was 100% a pathway for him into the first team. Just got to do a few more loans.
Klopp rates him as well, doesn't he? He really rates him.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, are you on the same?
I'm gonna say sell, just because it's just like we've been talking about centre backs the last few minutes. I just don't see if it is a case we keep Phillips. Phillips is still young. Van Dijk still has a few years in him. Konate is obviously very young. Maybe we keep Williams instead of obviously and then getting rid of Matip. But I just don't really see a place in the team for him for a long time, and it's more of a case that it could be a case he doesn't want to wait around to be 5th choice. He might excel kind of if he's put on loan and then kind of come back and say, well, I don't really want to sit on the bench. So I think it's more maybe from what he might feel, but I just think there's no point to keeping the guy around. I don't think it's going to help his career in any way to kind of shipping them out on loan, which we've done with a couple of players and it hasn't panned out. They come back and it's just a case they need to go permanently. So I think, I would probably say, just given the sense now that we have a good centre half situation, probably for the next couple of years, obviously fingers crossed. I would say sell, but very reluctantly as well. I think he does have a lot of potential.
Definitely, and of course he could still act as right back depth as well. He's considering Preston. We're sort of Preston fans. I spoke to one in one of the first videos of this channel, and he was like, "Who's this guy?" and it's like, well, yeah, but he's excelled. He's become a fan favourite at Preston over the last couple of months. Really, solid 6.5, 7 out of 10 right back.
His little brother rejected Liverpool recently. We were in for his little brother. And he rejected us.
I mean, he's so much better than him, clearly. He's other one isn't.
From my experience, younger brothers are so much better anyway, and I hope my brother's watching. I
agree with the comment from Lee here. I think this could be a good potential. Maybe even maybe this personally, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Talk of the devil. Liam has just has helped us segue. This man, is he real? We don't know. He appeared in a Corn video, and I don't know, was in part of the I don't even know what happened. But Ben Davis, lads, Ben Davis.
Sell.
What are we thinking?
Keith.
I'd say sell, because realistically speaking, with Konate, Gomez potentially fit. We also have Nat Phillips who's ahead of him in the pecking order. We'll have Van Dijk and Matip as well. He's just never going to get a look in. And I'd say, based on, he's still kind of hot property because he was half decent in the Championship. So I think we can make a profit on the 2 million or however much we bought him for. Or we could potentially sell him for 5, 6, 7 million. And that's still a decent price. I think that's how much Celtic were willing to pay for him before we moved. So
I looked up Ben Davies just to see how old he was, and then I saw an article mentioning an Instagram post he did yesterday. Probably was mentioned or seen by one of you guys, but saying he finished rehabbing his calf today or yesterday, should I say? So he's been injured. I think it's harsh to say he's not a choice for Klopp. And I mean, so say we get like £10 million from Celtic. Am I saying no? I mean,
No.
probably not. Probably not. But I don't think we're going to. And so if we don't get a bid like that, I don't think we force him out.
The thing is,
Where's he gonna
look how
fit in?
quickly we got rid of Kabak. I think we can be cynical and just sell him on.
Why
Even
on
though
earth would we
Kabak-
keep him? Like,
Kabak
especially
was
with.
okay.
Go on.
Kabak was okay, you know. He didn't really set the world alight. I know Ben Davies said he wants to stay at Liverpool, and obviously, why would you not? But Konate said the same thing. If you look back a couple of weeks ago, Konate posted about Leipzig and how excited he is to play in the Champions League with them next season.
Yeah. I was gonna break my own cardinal rule and then read his Instagram caption. And you mentioned that, Ben. I was gonna say like he's excited for next season, so he's gonna be here. But it was like, do those mean anything now?
Yeah,
Adam, just finish it, boy. Finish it.
I think Liverpool are in with a great chance of winning the visual effects Oscar next season for the work that they've done with Ben Davies. Just the fact that he looks so real, like, you know, when you see him on the sideline. No, that's cruel. That's cruel. Yeah, like sell. I think Jack actually mentioned a couple of weeks ago we were on a stream. I think Jack might have said sell him on to like someone like Celtic will come in and easily spend around like 8 to 10 million for the guy. I think they were interested in him before we bought him. So I mean, it was a strange choice to begin with. I don't know if it was a case of we just had to buy because we couldn't get a loan deal, like similar to Kabak. But yeah, it does seem very strange. But like just from the discussion we've had the last 10 minutes just about centre halves, yeah, he's just not going to fit in. You know, I may as well cash in on him now. And we will make a profit for him. We will.
The reason why we bought him, I understand, is because his contract was running out in the summer, so we couldn't really get a loan deal.
I want to read this quote from an article. It was James Pearce saying, "I spoke to people."
James Pearce doesn't know anything, no.
And he's been told that he won't be going anywhere. But I mean, James Pearce is.
Yeah. Everyone, so loads of people coming into the stream. Put your K's, your L's, and your S's for keep, loan, or sell. I think the verdict for Ben Davies is sell.
Keep.
Jack, I'm not having it.
Okay. Let me put it this way, right?
No.
Let's move on. This stream is going to go over for ages.
Come on, we've got to get it moving. Costas,
one thing I'm going to say.
Another person who's hardly ever been seen.
Go, Jack. Just get it going. Just get it going, Jack. Just say it quick.
If we get a higher bid, whoever gets a higher bid, Phillips or Davies, that's the one that is being sold. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Semicast, keep for me.
Yes.
Yep.
Keep.
Yeah. I feel like he's still got, you know, he was kind of settling in. I think he had a few niggles, injuries. But when he did come in, he seems all right. He can. I feel like he could challenge Robertson. Don't get rid of him just yet.
Yeah, these guys saying keep Chris and Liam. Thank you very much, boys. Moving on to midfielders. Leighton Clarkson's one that made a really decent impact against Midtjylland. Keep loan or sell. For me personally, it's a loan.
Loan.
Yeah.
Defensive ones.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think there's much discussion on that one either. Good, really decent young player, but I'm not sure what the pathway is. Marco Grujic has been on loan at Porto this season. I'm torn on this one, so I'll wait for you boys to have your verdict. Adam, keep loan or sell Marco Grujic?
Sell. We'll make a great profit off him. He's been on loan for a couple of years now. I mentioned it earlier. We've got a lot of guys who've been hanging around on loan deals for a couple of years now. Sorry. And like when he comes in, the occasional time he's came in over the years when he's back at the club, he looks like he could be a decent player. But it's another case, like you can't realistically see him getting in ahead of what we have there already. And chances are we're going to go in for a midfielder in the summer, hopefully. I just think we should cash in right now because he'll do great somewhere else. He's doing well with Porto, and I think Porto will definitely throw 25 million at us for the guy. So I think it would be silly not to sell.
I think Chris is frozen. I think.
I'll jump in.
He's moving the same amount as Grujic is. They're both moving the same.
Serbian brother. But I don't know. I'm really torn on this one because I see a lot of potential in him. And with Ronaldo going out and James Pearce, I know he doesn't really know a lot, James Pearce, but the fact that he has, he said we're not getting a Ronaldo replacement. I just think
That's worrying.
Grujic could add something extra, especially because we don't really have a Fabinho cover. Henderson can jump in there, obviously, but Grujic is a more like for Fabinho. Plus, he's also dangerous from set pieces. And Liam just commented saying Porto are only really willing to pay 12 million euros, which is not a lot. And I think the market at the moment is volatile. It's a buyer's market, not a seller's market.
Yeah.
And I do feel like we're not going to be able to get the high fee for him, the 25 million. So I'd rather keep him at the club or maybe send him out on loan again and wait until next summer when hopefully the financial market recovers and we can make a better and bigger profit on him.
Yeah.
Ben, I'm going to make a cardinal sin of the internet. I'm going to say someone speaking over the internet changed my mind. I was going to say easy sell, but I think actually he might be the Wijnaldum replacement because it is a buyer's market. And if we want to make maybe Konate and another forward that's pretty priced, like a Sancho, but Grujic is the replacement for Wijnaldum, it definitely wouldn't be flashy, but he could do it. And I think 12 million euros is far too little for him. We want a lot more. I think we want almost double that for him. And I think he's worth double.
He's a very good player. He's a very good player.
I think we keep him just for this season, I think. And then hopefully, as you mentioned, Ben, there should be more money in the circulation than next summer.
The thing for me about Marco Grujic is his lack of pace. Whenever I've seen him for Liverpool, when I've seen him for Porto, or wherever else he's played, he just doesn't seem to strike me as just not very quick at all.
I disagree with that. I
Do you reckon?
I just think that's just because he's a tall player and pace.
Do you reckon
pace looks different on tall players? I think he's quite fast. Like if you watch his goal against Barcelona, that wonderful looped header, he beat a lot of fast players to that ball. So I just think that's just because of his height.
I suppose. Yeah, I'm a little bit torn. Maybe if we play the double pivot next season, if Fabinho and Thiago play together in that way and we play 4-2-3-1, maybe he would have more of a place in Fabinho's role as cover. I'm not so sure he's like a Wijnaldum replacement. I'd say he's more like a Fabinho cover. But for me, it's keep. It's keep.
Definitely a Fabinho cover. That's why
I view Curtis as the actual replacement for Wijnaldum. And Grujic just slides in to cover any other holes that are left.
Because Ronaldo, let's be honest, Ronaldo did have to drop into that CDM role a few times, even this season. Yeah. So that's the way I see him, just coming and slotting into that CDM role.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to another midfielder. Two men here. We won't do them together, but we'll go back and forth. Two cover midfielders, Naby Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain. And we'll start with Naby Keita, one of my favourite players to play for Liverpool recently. But I've been convinced I'm a sell. I'm a hard sell for Naby Keita. Because after he had this extensive work with Schlumberger, he goes and pick up another injury. It's just so frustrating. I've had enough. Sell, cut our losses, move on.
I have to agree. But, I'd say keep the Ox. He showed a lot of promise in the final few weeks, and I think his versatility wins for me because he can also play up top and in midfield. And he's just more suited to the Premier League. With Naby, I love the player. I think he's a great player. But I think it would suit both us and him better if he were to go to somewhere abroad out of England and play in a less intense league.
No, get that slander off the screen. Everyone in the comments down below.
I'm not slandering him. I think he's a great player.
We all know what a brilliant player he is.
It's such a hard one.
The rare glimpses he's played for us when he has been on form, he's been brilliant. But it's just been so rare that I think we have to get rid. And I think right now, I know I was saying it's a buyer's market, but I still think Keita's stock is quite high. And I do think we can get 20-30 million, which I know is going to be a big loss for us. But it could potentially help bringing in a reinforcement on the further up the field where I do think we need an extra leg, because let's not forget, next winter it's the African Cup of Nations, and Salah and Mane could potentially be saying goodbye to us for a month. And I think that's why it's so important to get an extra leg in, even if that's only in January. Hopefully not, but we do need an extra leg in.
Yeah. Adam, keep loan or sell Naby Keita.
Naby Keita, 1 sec, sir. Just charging up. Very unprofessional. Sorry, guys. It's going to be sell for me. It's just gone on too long to the stage now where we're just waiting for the guy to kind of hit form, and it's just not happening. Like Ben said, it's only rare. Yeah, I just think it's kind of too little, too late now. We just kind of have to cut our losses, and I agree with Ben. We could get a good maybe 30 million, maybe even possibly more from this stage. But I think we kind of have, if we get around 30-35 million, I think we have to cash in. It's just a no-brainer at this stage, I think.
Yeah, and I think
just to clarify, I saw a comment. Well, that's not the one.
This one.
Yeah. So I wasn't saying in no way, or shape, or form was I saying that he's a cover. But I'm saying if we can't sell him, we can use that money to buy cover for Salah, Mane.
Yeah, definitely. And on that, Oxlade-Chamberlain, keep, sell, or loan. I'm 100% a keep. Ben touched on his versatility.
Loads of people saying Atletico Madrid are interested in him as well. So,
Chris, you're not going to let me defend my boy? You're not going to let me defend Naby Keita?
No, mate. No.
Yeah,
I was on until he got injured this last time. It was sort of like one last chance to save our relationship.
I feel like if he made the same impact as the Ox did, I'd be saying
he scored a goal in a 2-0 win when it was 2-0 against Burnley.
No, it wasn't just.
It was more than that.
Goal. It was every time he came on, he looked lively and threatening, and he was offering something off the bench, which we kind of lacked for a lot of this season. We didn't really have impact subs apart from Shota.
I don't think it's one or the other. I think Oxlade will always look more impactful off the bench because he is that kind of powerful burst player, uses his athleticism, very creative player in that sense, versus Keita. He's not like Thiago. He's not nearly as good a passer or a tempo controller, but he is the perfect player for our system if his legs could hold up to it, because he presses.
That's a big if, though. That's a big if.
If my nan had wheels, she'd be a bike.
I'd argue in that case he's not the perfect player for our system because his legs can't hold up to it.
You know what? And I think that's
a paradox there.
That's going to be the reason why I think he's going to be sold. I think this season is the make or break one. So if we keep him, we've kept him one season too long, he'll be worth nothing next year if he flops this season. If we keep him for this season, he could turn it around. An off season of work. Again, a lot of ifs with Keita, but in my opinion, I don't think we need to sell him. I don't think we need to scrap it.
We've said exactly what you've just said for the last 2.5 years, mate.
I know. It's a really hard argument to make, and I don't. And you know what? If he gets sold, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, Klopp sucks." I'm going to be like, "Yeah, it's deserved." I hope that he has enough time, but it's a results sport. And as much as I love the guy, he probably should be sold. The emotions in me. I've seen Kabak go. I've seen Wijnaldum go. My heart can't handle if Origi and Keita are leaving. It's just going to be some severe.
Right, moving swiftly on Ox. I think are we all keep, or is there any?
Unless Jack's scratching his face.
No, sell for me.
Sell.
Yeah.
I just think he's not as bad as Keita, obviously with injuries. I think he's been very unfortunate. I think that's the big difference between him and Keita. I think Ox has been more unfortunate than anything, just unlucky with the injuries gotten over the years. But I just, when it comes to cover for the front three, or cover for a kind of more creative player in midfield, we need a guy that can come in and make the same impact as Jota did last season. It can't be a case that a guy comes in and, like Jack said, score a goal against Burnley. That's one thing. I'm not taking anything away from Ox. I still think that he has something to offer. I just think if we're gonna buy another player to kind of rotate with the front three, it has to be a player exactly like Jota, who will come in and do it consistently. And I just don't think Ox is the guy for that.
I agree with that. But the thing is, So you'd sell both Keita and the Ox, because I think in that case then we'll have quite a few like short options in midfield.
Well, this is me hoping that we buy. This is more hopeful that we're going to buy someone else. Like, but yeah, you are right in saying like that. It is a case if we sell two of them, we are going to be left short. So if it's a situation that we know for sure we're not going to be getting in, then and if I had to pick between the two, then I would be picking to keep Ox. But in another kind of in another world, hopefully, if we get a replacement then for Wijnaldum, I would probably be saying sell them both. But if Ben is right and we are kind of left short between the two, I think it's a no-brainer between keeping Ox and keeping Keita. You will be keeping Ox.
I know what I'm going to say will open up a discussion, so I'm just going to float this, not like make it a huge debate. In my dream world, it would be a sell Oxlade and or Keita, bring in Pedro Gonçalves, because he'd be young, very versatile, plays as a 10, but he'd be a different option for us. He'd change things up. And I agree with what Liam's saying that we would have to I think if our midfield stayed the way it is, it'd be still one of the best midfields in the world next season with enough depth in every spot. But if we sell Keita or we sell Oxlade, then we open up a slot we need to fill. So we have to get a lot of money for either of them.
With Pedro Gonçalves, great player, but obviously there's the risk that this one season he could just be a one-season wonder.
That's true.
He's only had one good season in the Portuguese league in a very dominant Sporting side who dominated the Portuguese league. And on top of that, if you look at his XG, he's actually overperformed his XG by 10.
Yeah, that is a bit scary.
That is a worrying sign. I don't think he can maintain that. I mean, 14 goals for a number 10 is still good numbers. Let's not take anything away from that. But it's a concern for me. He's still very young as well.
Are we saying keep or loan?
I think it's a keep for Ox. Just about.
Right.
And sell for Keita, yeah. But based on the comment section, that's the reflection.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you'll keep loans and sells in the comments. Moving on, another player who's been in and around the fringes this season, Xherdan Shaqiri, a big Shaq, the Cube. For me, it's a keep for Xherdan Shaqiri. It's a bit of a controversial one. If he's happy to stay and if we don't get a bid, I just think when he does come on, that 1 in 5 games that he makes an impact, it's worth it. It's worth having a player like Shaqiri around. But again, if we get 15-20 million for him, he can go. But I am just gonna err on the side of keep. We'll go to Jackie Boy.
It's always funny. I think that's the sentence for every single player at this club. They're good. They got a lot of potential for this system. But if we get X amount of money, they can just get out of here. Get the hell out of here if you get us enough money. I think Shaqiri is. I think he's one of our actually. I don't know how other teams value him. I think he's one of our actually better assets in terms of how much we can get for him, and one of our most disposable players. He didn't make a ton of appearances.
If he has good Euros as well. That would come in handy.
Hey, if he has a good Euros and gets us a nice bid from
another overhead kick in the last one,
please.
And we only signed him for 12 million as well, so we could easily make a profit on him. Especially with clubs I saw that Roma were interested in him today. I can't really imagine what he'd be like under Mourinho.
I think Shaqiri is far. He'd actually be interesting at Roma under Mourinho. I think it'd be far too. I like this comment from Pradeep that I loved Coutinho and I want a Coutinho.
We don't need one though. That's a false thing. We don't need one.
I think having one would be a luxury. Like a Grealish would be it'd be amazing. Would we ever get him? Probably not. He's going to cost an arm and a leg. But Shaqiri he's not as direct a forward as we need. He's more of he's great at linking the play. He's not a great scorer, so he's not a good forward for our system in my eyes. He's better in the midfield, and in that sense, he's more disposable in my eyes. Bring in someone else who could do a job a bit better. Look, I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to save it for after the stream so we don't get into another debate because this has been 50 minutes. We haven't gotten to some of the more heated debates. Personally, I would, if I had to pick one, keep, sell, or loan, I would sell.
So, Adam, keep, sell, or loan.
Breaks my heart because I love the guy. I really do. I would say sell though. I'd be a bit of a hypocrite if I didn't say sell because, similar to Chamberlain, I don't think he's a better player than Knox. So it's a bit hypocritical for me to say, oh yeah, keep Shaqiri. So as much as I love him, yeah, sell.
And I'm guessing it's a sell from you, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, I love Shaqiri as well, but I do agree with the sentiment that we need someone who's can push the front three and also play in midfield. And I think there are potential players out there. Someone like DePaul could be interesting.
Yeah.
To bring in, and there's a few other options as well. So if we can get good money for him, and if we can replace him with someone who is going to be challenging that front three, I'd do it.
I want to pull up this comment really quick. We'll talk about Origi in a second, but this is, I think, an interesting idea. I wouldn't want to see Keita and Origi go for two midfielders.
It's a little bit of a FIFA deal. This is.
It does feel like a FIFA deal, doesn't it?
I'm just going to say it's not realistic, but it would be quite good. Yeah.
The Tielemans deal, I could potentially see it happening.
I think
because it's like for like.
Crazy.
Why would Leicester do that though?
They're not in the Champions League. If we push Tielemans to do a transfer request,
we'd love to see it. We'll talk more about incomings on another stream. We'll go on next to our forwards. We'll start off on the wing. We'll go for Shea Ojo. Had an okay season at Cardiff City this season. I'm a sell. I'm not sure there's much debate on this one.
Yeah, sell.
So,
I mean, he has been through the loan circuit a bit. Hasn't really turned out a great amount of performances. He'll have a bit of value.
Unbelievable at academy level. I thought he was going to be the next Sterling. Never really lived up to that height. So yeah, that's sell.
Yeah, definitely a sell. He was good under Neil Harris actually when I saw him, but as soon as Mick McCarthy came in, nothing happened.
Feels like an older generation of Liverpool football club.
I love the shout for Ennis Bardi for Shaqiri. That would be a good deal. I know he didn't score a lot this season, but he is a goal-scoring midfielder, and he's very like for like in terms of he's dangerous from set pieces, a great presser, very energetic midfielder. Keep an eye on him for North Macedonia at the Euros as well. He was brilliant against Germany.
Yeah, definitely. Similar vein, Harry Wilson, also on loan at Cardiff City. It's a definite sell for me.
So it's gone on too long.
I love Harry Wilson, right? We all know
he'll forever be in our hearts.
Yeah, top level Championship, lower level Premier League player. We all know it's like that. So
comments in the skies.
Yeah,
he was good for Bournemouth. Like he was like pretty. He's sort of.
But the thing is, he's a very good highlight reel player, Jack. Like he is off the ball, he just doesn't provide it, mate. Yeah. He doesn't provide it at all.
Hey, he scored a great free kick against Man City in a loss for Bournemouth. Like that was pretty good. That was
scored twice against Tottenham as well.
Yeah.
I had those moments, but
yeah,
he's great for Wales.
As I said, yeah, he is. Well, actually, again, it's very highlight reel for Wales as well. I'll tell you, every Welsh fan will tell you that he's not. But he's not the first name on the team sheet.
You know, think about it. Actually, like players who struggle with consistency and off the ball isn't really consistency, but they have that in their locker. It's interesting always. You know, like maybe they could turn around. So I think he will have some value to somebody.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying sell because he's
still relatively young as well.
Yeah. What? I'll look him up.
He's like 20. He's 24.
24, 23.
He's the same. He's the same age as Nat Phillips.
Yeah. Jeez,
so moving on, another forward who's been out on loan this season. He's just got a work permit. A man that Ben knows probably more than the rest of us. Taiwo Awoniyi. I hope we pronounced that right, mate. But for me, I haven't seen enough of him, but I've seen that there's interest. I'd be on the side of sell, probably just because there is interest, and if there is enough money on the table, then that's fine for me. We'll go over to Adam. We'll save you till last, Ben. Adam first. Keep loan or sell, mate?
I'd say sell. I think it's funny the way when his work permit was mentioned, it wasn't, he's got a work permit and, to come back to Liverpool, it was straight away, he's got a work permit and he's linked with other clubs. Like, I think that kind of says it all. Like, sell. I mean, a guy who looks like he has a lot of potential again. but I just don't see him anytime soon getting into the squad to kind of challenge. So probably, I'd say sell probably the best option.
Jackie boy.
I think considering how many years he's been out on loan, it'd be harsh to say sell now or even loan him again because he's been nobody is just deserving of a handout to play for Liverpool Football Club because they worked hard and like they were a nice bloke. But I think he might make
Ben
sense.
Davis.
Yeah, proper Ben Davis. That's how I feel with him too. He's worked hard to make his calf fit again. I think he actually could be an interesting option for us. And I think we should keep him. I agree with what Dan said. Keep him for 1 year. Give him a chance. Maybe he pulls a Phillips and like once he's with us, he like really starts to thrive a bit more. And I think he's earned that at least. I think especially it might actually ease our ability to maybe like. I don't think we're able to sign Daka. I don't think he's going to be an option for us because he's going somewhere else. So in lieu of him, have him as the new option as a center forward, and maybe sign like a winger, like a Sancho. Like I always say, Sancho, it's like a high expensive option, but I think we keep him.
Ben.
Yeah, that's kind of my thinking. I think he's going to be a replacement for Origi. I can see him being a good replacement for Origi. I spoke to his advisors for first time finish back in around January time, and back then obviously the work permit was still up in the air, but his advisors told me Klopp and Liverpool keep in regular contact with him. Last summer he had a bit of time to train with the club and Klopp really liked him, liked what he saw, and he was unfortunate because he was in a really good run in the Bundesliga and then he got an injury which ruled him out for a big length of time. But in that run, the glimpses he showed, he's good in the air. I think he could benefit from Trent's crosses and deliveries a lot. Let's not forget, he didn't score the most amount of goals, but he was playing in a side that wasn't really scoring goals and creating that many chances. And I think what Klopp really likes about him and what will appeal to Liverpool fans as well is unlike Origi, he's a very good presser of the ball. He can press and chase and harry defenders and win balls high up the field, and he was one of the most successful strikers in the Bundesliga statistically when it comes to that metric, and that's something to keep an eye on. I think I'd keep him around for 6 months if we're getting rid of Origi. Just because I don't think we'll get like a big man striker. So just to throw him in as an option when we are struggling to break down low blocks, I think, why not? I'd keep him.
Do you know what? I'll change my mind just for the sake of it. I do. I'm sort of on your side, especially if we're going to get rid of Origi. Don't know what you were going to say, Ad.
I was just going to say it reminds me a bit of the situation where Brewster a bit. I think everyone kind of wanted to see Brewster come into the squad and maybe be that kind of replacement for Origi, and obviously didn't pan out that way. Maybe he just
still should have been
the level, and I think everyone was kind of surprised by that. So I'd love to see. I think
the difference is Brewster didn't really suit our system. He's not a big presser of the ball. He's not a big man. He doesn't offer anything else. He's a kind of just like the tap-in finisher type of guy, which works well in some teams, but we don't really create tap-in goals for our strikers, and that's why I don't think with Aveni, Taiwo is that kind of player who does suit our system to an extent and offers us something else, whereas Brewster didn't offer us anything else. He had good moments. He's a good finisher, brilliant finisher, but he wasn't the right fit. Whereas I think Aveni could be, or certainly seems like it from what I've seen.
Yeah, definitely. Moving swiftly on, Divock Origi. I'm definitely a sell. Thanks for all the memories, pal. But it's time to go.
Yep, agreed.
So,
Jack, don't even
thinking about it. Jack's thinking about it.
You know what? Like, okay, so let me put the only scenario in which we keep him. Actually, hang on. Let me look up the Belgium Euros squad first.
He's not in
it.
All right, sell him.
Yeah, because Alisson scored more league goals than this season. So there we go.
That try got him over him. That says a lot.
Sorry. It doesn't matter now because we were on the verdict of keep. But yeah, I would probably say Taiwo. You won me over, Ben. Go on, let's say keep.
Yeah, we'll keep
Thank
him.
you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'd love to see some of these guys come in. I really would. I just kind of think if we're
I
kind
do
of
agree.
looking
I do agree. I think we might probably end up selling him. But if I were, I think he'll get preseason, for sure, to show Klopp what he has.
Yeah, definitely. Takumi Minamino, I love him to bits, boys. I'm sort of in a Jackie Boy situation here because I want nothing more than that lovely, happy Japanese fella to succeed at Anfield, but I just don't think it's meant to be. So I would be sell. I don't know what you boys think.
I agree. I think physically, I don't think he's quite made for the Prem. And on top of that, as James Pearce pointed out, he's not a great presser in the team, which is why Klopp loaned him out in the first place. So I just don't think he suits our system. We might have looked at it as a cheap option, good branding wise as well to break into that Japanese market. And we had some good moments with him. I think technically he's a brilliant player. He's great on the ball. He's a wonderful technical player. But yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see us keeping him, and I think we can probably get more than 7.5 million that we bought him for, even in this volatile market. I think someone will come in and offer us 10, 15 million, and I would take that.
Jesse Marsh has gone to RB Leipzig. I mean, he was a big fan of Takumi Minamino, so
yeah,
he's making a roundabout way up the Red Bull hierarchy. He's just
exactly. Keep loan or sell, Adam. What are you thinking?
I'd love to see him get another season, maybe just to show if he has anything else, and give him more time. But I just don't think I don't think he's ever going to get enough time to kind of show that that he has anything else in his locker. Which I know is a bit silly to say. Obviously, it's going to be difficult for a lot of players to get time over the front three. But do I see him kind of coming in and making a big impact when the front three aren't there or rotated? Probably not. I think it would probably be smart business to sell him. But again, reluctantly, because like Chris, I just love the guy, and I don't think I've ever been so delighted with a new signing to see him score. Like, I don't know what it was like last season.
I think what happened was
you just love to see him score every time.
What happened was
he just scored a brace for Japan today, by the way.
Yeah, but it wasn't a 10-0 win. We're not going to talk
against Myanmar.
Yeah,
139th in the world.
To be fair, Japan beat them 14-0 last time, so
it's improvement. Yeah, the thing is with Taki, I don't want to get political, but the Tories have just won the election, and we announced Klopp's deal, Milner's deal, and Minamino on the same day. Like, that can't be a coincidence, boys. That can't be a coincidence.
I definitely think it can be.
I don't think it can be. I don't think it can. The whole city was in up in arms, effectively. So yeah, we'll move on from that. Two more to go. We're going to go with one with a slight less debate. A lot of people were saying before the last game of the season, because people are so reactionary, Sadio Mane, boys. Keep, loan, or sell? I think we all are on one side, but I'll start with you, Jack. Keep, loan, or sell?
I saw an article in the LC transfer. Borussia Dortmund offering 70 million euros. I say we snatch that up, and we say you're dumb. He's worth twice that. Keep the lad.
Yeah, Adam.
Not a chance. I love the guy, and I think on his best day, I'd probably love him more than Mo Salah. To be honest with you, I just think he offers so much. Even when he wasn't scoring, the guy never stops. He never stops. He's always breaking his back every game. It would just be silly to sell him. I'm amazed a lot of people were saying to sell him, and how he was done and dusted because he had one bad season. I think it's absolutely mental. He's such a huge player for us.
I think he had a bad season in his standards, but when you look at a player of his ability, I think he had a good season. Because And I don't buy the fact that he has no energy and he's lost his pace. I think one of the most crucial moments was against West Brom. People will talk about the Alisson goal, but the way he harried and pressed West Brom's defender to win the ball back and give the assist to Salah, that goes underappreciated because that's typical Klopp style of play, winning, harrying, pressing his opponent. And people don't really, I feel like he was kind of underappreciated towards the end of the season because he had a resurgence. He was scoring and assisting goals and he looked really sharp. And with the fans, he was different gravy on that final day. He was brilliant.
The best football player in the world, Sadio Mane. Let's go, boys. And the last one, which I think is probably the biggest debate of the summer for Liverpool, Harvey Elliott is probably one that's going to split the board. I'm one of the opinion that it depends what team offers a loan deal, because
I know me and Matty always have had this debate for a long time: keep or loan. For me, I think because of the African Cup of Nations and because in December, Salah and Mane are both going to be leaving, I would keep him on, play him in League Cup games, potentially Champions League games, based on who you get, and bring him on as an impact sub as well. See what he can do, see what he's about, and if he's good enough, I could see him coming in during that period in December when Salah and Mane are not going to be there. I think it's only a few games in December and then a few games in January. I think he's shown enough in the Championship to warrant that. At 17, I think he's had the best Championship season for a teenager ever. He's bettered Grealish's record ever in the Championship, and Grealish stepped up and did really well in the Premier League after a good Championship season. So I wouldn't write it off. I think he plays in a way that could suit Liverpool.
Yeah, it's for me. The thing is, I don't want him to stagnate. It would be the worst thing ever to see such a talent.
I think it would only be for 6 months. Let's see what he's about. If he is not ready yet, send him out on loan.
That's true. That is very true. That's very true.
Here's my issue, though, is I like the logic there, Ben. Keep someone around till January so we have some depth when the squad gets a little thin. But my issue with that is why should we – not that Shaqiri is more expendable, but why are we sacrificing the development potentially of Elliott, who should be playing week in and week out, borderline in the Premier League?
Should he be playing week in, week out, though? Because one of the best talents in the world, Phil Foden, probably the best, one of, if apart from Mbappe, the best young talent in the world, he was rotated well, managed well. Yeah. And that's that.
There's an argument to be had because he could also learn a lot from just training with Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane, who are the best in their position week in, week out, and learning from them, like Phil Foden did with De Bruyne and Gundogan and David Silva. He was picking up a lot from all these world-class players. And I think there's an argument to be had that he could benefit from the same. Like, I don't know if you guys remember Raheem Sterling's kind of like second season at the club when he was around the same age, and sometimes he was playing, sometimes he was on the bench, sometimes he even went back to the reserves and played a few games there. That's the way I see his role next season.
Yeah, definitely. Adam, Harvey Elliott.
Yeah, I'm going to say keep, but I understand the argument of putting him out on loan. I think he's unlike any young player we signed that we've put out on loan. You know, it's not the same case with Brewster or other players. He is a special player, and he is going to be a world-class player in a few years. It's not kind of silly to try and predict that now. He will be. So because of that reason, I think Klopp will be very protective of him, and they might put him on loan again. But as Ben said, yeah, I mean, we are going to need depth there going into next January. And like just the argument of Phil Foden, I know they're two different players. It's two different levels kind of at the moment. But like when is it kind of time? Like, you know, that argument is always going to come up. Like, when is it time to give these guys a chance? Like, we've seen a lot of young players kind of excel in the Premier League with obviously sometimes with smaller teams, you know, where there's not as much competition. But I think when is it actually time to give these guys a chance. And I would 100% of all the players we have on loan, of all the players that are rumored to come back, whatever. He's my number one. I want to see him on the bench next season, 100%. Whether he plays often or not, I think he has to be there.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good way to finish us off. A very marathon stream. Thank you so much to everyone who's been in and around. Cheers for joining us, Adam, Ben, and Jack. And I'm sure we'll be back with some more videos this week, talking about transfers. I mean, we could do some more on Canate. Don't know what's going on elsewhere, because Fabrizio Romano said anything can happen with Liverpool this summer. So, once again, thank you very much, boys. And thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And we will see you in the next stream and in the next